Torah.
Yes. Now, this hadith of I believe in the Torah, there's no authentication of
But
it.
you just accepted it. What are you talking about?
This part of it.
Oh, so you break the hadith into half.
He's saying there's a hadith that says the Prophet put his hand on the thing. He's like, I believe in the Torah.
He said that.
Where
I
is
don't know.
that?
He was.
It's
He came
Sunan
to
Abu
me.
Dawood.
Which one? He said it has the Torah.
Can you? Which is the hadith number? Where is it? There's two views on this. Anyways, let's not descope
You
it.
want the number, yeah?
This,
You want the reference?
Yes, please.
Abu Dawood, book 40.
There's another one you need to bring it out to make
Yeah,
it
don't worry
symmetry.
about it.
You have to make it symmetry, brother.
Book 40, hadith 444.
What did it say? That the Prophet he put his hand on the
Look at that,
Torah.
man.
What's
Yeah.
the hadith?
There's two
What's the
views.
hadith? What the hadith say?
He put his hand on the Torah. It's in Sunan Abu Dawood.
You got nothing left to say. I've spoken to you for a long time. You got nothing left to say.
I got some questions.
I have his pizza, by the way.
I would like to ask some questions. At some
Yeah, of course you can.
Regarding God,
By the way,
Well, all these things,
the
sure.
existence of God.
everything that
Talk about where
everything that we're saying doesn't come out of everything that we're saying doesn't come out of the idea that what I said, because Ibn Taymiyyah, as we said, his view was that it's possible for the Torah to have been preserved at the time of Prophet Muhammad.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Okay, so for you it's
But
possible.
from his time,
What was his time?
that is a view within the scholarly works of the Muslims.
So it's possible.
At the time of Prophet Muhammad, when he was alive, that parts of it or all of it was actually preserved.
Is it parts or all?
Some say parts, some say all.
So it's possible that all.
Yes, it's very possible. Ibn Taymiyyah had that view. Some people had that view that it's possible for the Torah to have been preserved at his time. Yes, it's
Does that
possible
apply
at his
to the
time.
gospel as well?
Pardon? No.
No. So it's
No,
only
just
to
the
the
Torah, yeah.
So in your view, right, hearing this guy that you say is an authority, it's possible that at the time of Muhammad,
Yeah.
basically, if at the time of Muhammad it was preserved, right now we have it preserved, right?
No.
No, we don't have any
Yeah,
manuscripts
so
from
the
before the
idea-
time of Muhammad of the Torah?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
No, because the idea is that, no, let me give you, this is exactly right. What you said there is exactly right. What you have now in terms of manuscripts
Yeah.
is you have editions from the 9th century. Most of biblical scholars like Bar Ehrman and Bruce Metzger, when they looked at the manuscripts of the Bible, most of the, did you know that most,
Are you talking
there are
about Old Testament or
5,600
New Testament?
New Testament.
But I was talking about Old Testament.
Okay, no
Which
problem.
predates long time. Muhammad,
Yes.
Long time.
Yeah, I understand
So
that.
of course we have manuscripts.
But you know, even
we even
that,
have have New Testament manuscripts that predate Muhammad.
okay, no problem.
Codex Sinaiticus, Code of Icon. I'm
Yeah,
sure you're aware
those
of that.
Codex Sinaiticus is very small.
Small.
Yes, what?
Big is a whole entire
No,
codex.
but what is preserved of it is not that much.
What do you mean was preserved of it?
If you go to the British Library,
Yeah.
you'll find that there's a credit card section, which is
No,
ridiculous.
that is what's called a fragment.
Yes.
That's a fragment.
Yeah,
I'm
so
talking about
that's
the
what I'm saying.
codex.
Yeah, it's not all there. It's not all there. It's not all intact.
Bro, whatever's in there.
No,
he has enough
you're
to
confused.
contradict Islam.
No, you're
okay?
confused. No, you wish, yeah.
I'm not
You wish.
confused. You can look it up.
No,
You can look it up, man.
Okay, what scholarly works have you read?
What do you mean?
What scholarly works have you
I
read?
haven't read no.
So then don't talk about it.
Why not?
Because you're not an expert on this
I
matter.
don't have to be an expert to
So
talk
you
about
you got two ways.
it. Are you an expert?
No, but I'm
need
not.
to be an expert to know
Yes,
God.
yes. No.
So you're not an expert either, you're talking about it.
what?
What are you
By the way,
talking
it's the same question. Listen, Muhammad. The same question he asked the same thing.
No, but you have to narrate. You have to narrate from
He
experts.
denied-
If you're not
he
one
denied-
yourself.
My question is
He
very
denied a few
simple.
things. I said to him, Allah said fi, in it. Yeah. So Allah said when Allah said fi in it means the portion which is in it.
Yeah, I spoke to him about all of this. Look.
I've got a question for both. It's just a different type of question.
I think we'll answer this.
So the point is, I won't take away. I want to be as honest as possible right now,
yeah.
and say within the view that I take is that the everything that was at the time when the Prophet was corrupted. That's my view.
Okay.
There were three views in Islamic tradition. One view is that part of it was corrupted. Another one is all of it was corrupted. And the other view is that none of it was corrupted. That's what Ibn Hajar
What's the
al-Asqalani.
difference between part of it corrupted and all of it corrupted?
What do you mean? What's the difference? So part of it means
Because when you say all of it corrupted, you're basically saying an entire different book.
no. So yes. So what we're saying is the preservation has no provenance. That's what we're saying.
I don't know what that means.
That means it doesn't have any trace back to Moses. In the case of the Torah.
So that means partly corrupted.
No, that means all of it is corrupted. If we say all of it is corrupted, there is no chain back to Moses.
What do you mean all of it is corrupted? You mean every verse is corrupted?
No, we don't mean that. I don't mean
You
that.
mean every book is corrupted?
No, can I explain?
Yeah, go ahead.
There's three opinions that you can take. One opinion is that all of it is corrupted, meaning there's no remnant in the Torah.
Of preserved Torah.
Yeah, everything is hearsay. Everything
Right,
is
so
hearsay.
every verse was corrupt. That's what I said.
Yeah, and nothing.
So it's a different book. Totally different book. Every verse.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah. Yes.
In the only sense, there's only one.
That's one view. Another view is, these are the only three possible logical views.
So there are Muslims, let me just clarify.
Yes.
There are Muslims who believe that
all of it.
every verse of the Torah
Yes.
has been corrupted.
Yes.
So basically we lost the Torah, totally.
Yes. Some people believe that. Some people believe that, no, actually not all of it, that some of it. And some people believe at the time of Prophet Muhammad, that it was intact until that point.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, no problem. So
I believe that.
yeah, so all of those three are legitimate things, but the point I'm making to you from my reading of the secondary source materials, my reading of Bartman and Bruce Metzger and other people, not just them two, many people that talk about preservation, what their point is that the majority of the manuscripts, because in the New Testament corpus there's about 6,000 manuscripts, as you're aware, that comprise the New Testament corpus, like 5,700 or something like that. What you'll find to your surprise is that the majority of them were actually discovered in the 9th century, which is 2 centuries after Prophet Muhammad. So, which is actually quite shocking, because it shows you the weakness and the futility of the biblical preservation. But it also shows
Are you saying we don't have any manuscripts from before the time of Muhammad that contradict Islam?
Sorry?
Are you saying that we don't have any manuscripts that predate Muhammad that contradict Islam?
No. There's lots of.
You're not saying that?
Yeah, a lot of things.
Are you not?
What, in the Torah or in the Injeel?
Any.
No, there's very big difference, because the Torah.
Any, you choose.
No,
both.
The Torah will be less likely to. The Injeel is more likely to. The so-called Injeel. So, like for example, the Gospels, according to Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, there's a discussion almost throughout those 4 Gospels that talk about the crucifixion of Jesus. So that clearly contradicts
the
Islam.
Codex that's there. It's in there. The Codex it talks about the crucifixion of Jesus, and that predates Muhammad.
Some of it does, some of it doesn't. That's my point. Some of it does.
The Codex is the book, is the collection.
Yeah. Some of it does.
I'm not talking about the fragments. I'm talking about the Codex itself.
Are you listening to what I'm saying?
Yes,
some of the manuscripts, the discoveries of the manuscripts, some of them were pre-7th century, and some of them were 9th century.
Right. The ones who are pre-7th century, if they contradict Islam, you should be forced to say that it was corrupted.
But there are also, there are also biblical teachings.
Not today. No, it's okay, carry on. Go to check it out.
I was going to have to start swinging punches today.
You get a headbutt.
No, I'm joking. What was I saying? Sorry, I forget.
You're talking about the manuscripts.
Talking
about the manuscripts. So.
So the point is this, is that you have contradictory evidence within Christianity before Prophet Muhammad. You had those who believed in Jesus being God, believed in his crucifixion, and those who didn't believe he was God and didn't believe in his crucifixion.
I'm not talking about
but in terms of
the scripture.
No, what I'm saying to you, here's what you're saying, this scripture. Let me ask you one foundational question. Do you think that the New Testament corpus is one unity, one entity that all Christians agreed upon from the time of Jesus until now?
What does that mean?
You have 27 books of the New Testament. Within those 27 books, you have different things being said.
Yeah.
Do you think there always has been agreement on what constituted the New Testament, number one, and number two, what, in terms of canonicity, and number two, within each of the books, in terms of the Gospels and the extra books, what constitutes the literary items within that?
As far as I know, the books that we have in the New Testament, those were always considered scripture, the ones that we have. And I know that there were discussions about some of them and others to being part or not being part.
Perfect. So, in that case...
Allow me to finish. Allow me to finish. Now, I'm not a scholar.
Yeah, okay.
The way I would defend the Bible or the reliability of the New Testament and of the Old Testament would be totally different from what you were expecting.
No, I didn't.
Let me just.
Right.
I wouldn't, because I don't believe that anyone, whether us or you guys actually, that we should authenticate our scripture when we say this is from God, that because of history we know that it's from God, or because of history we know that it's been this or that. When we're talking about something that's divine, I would say is either God reveals that to you or you don't know, because history keeps changing. Maybe in 100 years they'll show something that contradicts what you say.
So what? My point
but
is
different. That's a different topic.
You said that there have been some discussions as to what should be part of the New Testament and what have not been part of the New Testament. My question to you is: are you of the view that if I don't believe in all the books of the New Testament, I'm not. Do I have to believe in all the books in the New Testament to be a Christian?
You see, bro, because he called you. What's happening here now is he's trying to ask me about my faith and about what I believe, which is fair enough. But that will be a different topic that will take me time to address. I just wanted to see if you were going to answer his question because he was looking for something.
No, it's very.
That's all. If you're done about that,
Yeah.
then I'm done, man.
I know you want to leave this conversation.
I might join another time.
No problem. That's fine. What I was going to say to you is this: the problem is that Christians themselves have not agreed upon what constitutes the New Testament. And if you don't know that Christians themselves don't know what constitutes the New Testament, then it's very unfair for you to then say, well, there's evidence in your Quran that says that we should believe in the New Testament. There is no
The Quran
evidence.
affirms that whatever we have as gospel, you should believe that is from God.
No, but that's what you're trying to put forward.
That's my argument.
Yeah,
and if you don't have anything to say, I appreciate your time.
No, let me summarize my points on that. Forget about the argument of Athanasius.
And
I've
see
only
if
made
it answers the question once again. Carry on. Yeah.
So once again, there's two ways of understanding this. وَخَفَّيْنَا مِنْ بَعْدِهِمْ بِعِيسَى ibn Maryam, chapter 5, verse 46, is talking about Jesus' time. Yes? Al-Qurtubi says that فَلْيَحْكُمْ أَهْلُ الْإِنجِيلِ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فِيهِ means those people of Jesus' time. That's what he says. It's not an amr. It's not a command for those present people. That's what Al-Qurtubi says. If you want to take it as an amr for those people who were at the Prophet's time, there are another disjunctive way of looking at that. Either that implies that the Torah at that particular time, yes, was preserved, or it doesn't. But this is talking about the Injeel. At any point.
So when he's speaking to the Jews, he's also speaking in the past.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so number two.
Quoted the context.
The next verse, it says.
Before you go next verse.
No, okay.
You said that on verse 47.
Yes.
He's speaking about the Christians at the time of Jesus.
That's one interpretation. Yes.
Do you believe that though?
I'm inclined to that view. Yes.
So you believe that?
Yes.
Right. So what happened between verse 43 and verse 46? For you to say that in 43 he's talking about present and suddenly he's talking about back in the days.
Well, that's what happens in the Quran. The Quran has got something called iltifat. So it goes from present to past to present, a second person to third person.
That sounds like a mess.
Well, that's because
you don't understand Arabic. That's
yeah, that's
okay. So he can't follow it either.
No, that's not.
He's Muslim. He can't follow
Hold on.
No, he can't follow.
No, he can't. You don't know Arabic. Don't know Arabic. You can't.
Well, you can't put words in his mouth.
If you don't know Arabic,
listen.
You can't put words in his mouth.
Listen. Calling it a mess. First of all, it has no logical value. It has no philosophical.
Okay, let me just clarify. I'm not trying to offend. I'm saying it's a mess because it sounds like it's confusing.
No problem.
Okay. No offense. Yeah?
No problem. So if it's confusing to you. Like for example, I'm a layman. You're a layman. Right now it's quite a beautiful day. I look into the sky. Look at this. Look, me and you look, because it's beautiful and there's so many stars. Look, and I'll say if I'm an ignorant. Sorry, I apologize. If I'm someone ignorant of astronomy, oh, there's a mess of stars up there, right?
No, that's not.
No, hold on. An astronomer.
That's a false analogy. It's very bad.
Let me finish my point, and then you can say it's a false analogy. An astronomer will look and say, oh, hold on, those stars, when together in that format, constitute a constellation. Astronomers, people of knowledge, when they look at things seemingly random to people of laity, they make sense of it. But just because you're, sorry to say, but you have ignorance on an issue, it doesn't mean you should impose that ignorance. Okay, well, it's a mess. It's a mess to you. Mathematics might be a mess to you as well. It doesn't mean it does not make sense, right? Okay, so let's go back. And now, the point is, the Quran says, there's one verse of it which destroys everything you have to say.
Which one?
Which talks about verse 47, وَمُهَيْمِنًا عَلَيْهِ.
That's 48.
That it's, 48, sorry. Which is, it's a guardian over it. If it's a guardian over it,
the Muslims, obviously.
مفهوم المخالفة, which means the implied meaning here is that it needs presiding over.
For who?
It needs presiding over for anyone who wants to.
That's where you're wrong. That's where you're wrong.
Okay,
because it carries on. What does he say after? You know it, right? You know it by heart? Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
What does he say after? On the same verse.
Which part?
Verse 48.
Yes.
You mentioned Muhammad, or whatever, however you pronounce it. Criterion.
Yes.
What does it come after? On the same verse.
So revealed from that which Allah has revealed to you.
No.
Yes, it does say that. Yeah.
Quote me the verse. You know the verse, right?
Yes. So it says, it says ومهين عليه فلا تتبع أهواءهم.
Do not follow their desire.
Do not follow their desires. Is this right?
And after?
Yeah. That they may misguide you.
And after? First I haven't finished. Finish the verse.
Which part of it now?
That verse. Finish the
Which
verse.
part of it?
Just finish the verse, because the verse says that had Allah willed,
ولو شاء الله
He would have
لجعلهم
made you one
أمة.
nation.
Yeah.
But He didn't will
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
What did He will? He will to each their own, one for each.
No.
Not the last one for everybody.
He says,
one for each,
ليبلوهم
so
فيما
that He
آتاهم.
would test you.
Yes,
so that I
yeah.
read it myself. So that He would test you in what He had revealed to you.
Yes, exactly. So,
Not to the Quran.
But hold on, Miguel, yeah?
Miguel, that's my name.
Yeah, it says ولو شاء الله لجعلهم أمة واحدة لكل جعلنا من شرعة ومنهاجا. Yeah, it says, and then it says that ليبلوهم فيما آتاهم. So Allah wanted to test them, yeah, for what they have. In other words, do you know what this is saying? Can I explain to you what this is saying? This man is saying he's non-religious. This man is Muslim, whatever. This Muslim, whatever. Yeah.
I don't think it's funny. It wasn't nothing. Hold on, I don't think.
Yeah,
I think that we might not need a book to know the nature of God. That's my,
Yeah, okay, I agree with that.
One of my
I agree.
views.
I agree with that. Anyway, at any point, what Allah is saying is that human beings.
Stand up stuff, guys. Stand up stuff.
What?
You got pearly boys in paradise waiting for you, and they don't believe.
Yeah, but he's over there.
It's just drama.
Yeah,
It's
sorry.
just drama.
Let me just say.
Too much emotion.
That's it.
He went as white as a sheep. He went as white as a sheep.
Sorry.
Sorry, carry on. Yeah.
It's just saying that Allah put people in a situational position where He tests them in different ways.
How? What is He saying in the verse? Let's
Because
put it up.
لكل
What's He?
Oh man, let drama be drama. It's a waste of time.
I mentioned about as well, يعني, allowing them to
can't
have
talk
their own
use force, right?
arbitration in the courts.
Yeah.
Muslim countries, that's what happens. So
But do you get it now? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's leave it now.
Oh, I got questions.
Yeah,
I've
any
written it all
questions?
day.
I'll make you a follow-up about the